Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, a place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I wanted to do something a little different, but I hope is going to be fun, where I take a quiz and just discuss the results. So I got this quiz from Simply Podlogical's podcast. She did it several years ago with her partner, and it's called Can We Guess Where in Canada You Live Based on How You Speak? And I just thought it would be fun because although I was raised in Alberta, currently live in Ontario, and there are definitely some linguistical differences in terms of how people talk. And while I'm aware of some of them, I'm curious to see if this quiz can figure it out. So the first question is, did anyone pick up a 2-4 for the weekend? The responses are, come again, we, they, we, what are you saying? Cooling in the fridge as we speak. I think a 2-4 is referring to beer, like alcohol, but I don't know that for sure, so I'm going to say come again. Next is the question, we're heading to the woods, where are we going to stay? In the cabin, a chalet, in a bungalow, at the cottage. And I'm fairly certain at the cottage is a Eastern Canada and particularly like an Ontario thing, and cabin is more of a Western Canada thing. Chalet and bungalow, I'm not really sure. To me, a bungalow is like a type of house, like a bungalow style house as opposed to like a cabin style house. That's not quite like they're not describing the same thing. So I would say we're going to the cabin. The next question is, what do y'all have at Timmy's? And the answers are, I prefer Starbucks, ugh, give me a triple or a double. So I know what a double is. It's 2 cream, 2 sugar. Triple is 3 cream, 3 sugar. When I go to Tim Hortons, which I don't often do, but if I do, I get a double, but I do prefer Starbucks. So I'm gonna say I prefer Starbucks. Next is the question, need to pick up some scratchers and a coffee crisp. Where are you headed? Corner store, dépanneur, convenience store, variety store. So I'm assuming dépanneur is a Quebec thing. Corner store I have heard, though in retrospect, I can't think of where. I don't associate that with an area in Canada. Variety store, I think there is like a chain of convenience stores called variety stores, if I'm not mistaken, or called variety. I would say convenience store. I used that word like yesterday, so I definitely say convenience store. It's fizzy, it's full of sugar, and it comes in a can. What is it? Soft drink, a soda, pop, a Coke. And again, my understanding is, I think in like southern US, they'll call any kind of pop a Coke. But to me, like a Coke, that's a brand, or like it's a very specific type of drink. I don't say soda. I know that is a regional thing. Soft drink, I might say if I'm being very generic about it, but I generally say pop. You have electricity in your house, right? What do you call that bill that comes every month anyway? Electricity bill, power bill, light bill, hydro bill. This one I know because I made a comment about a hydro bill at some point, and I think the person I was talking to was like, when you say hydro bill, do you mean electricity bill? And I was like, yeah, it's the same thing. And then at another point in time, I did a similar thing. I was like, I mentioned a hydro bill, and the person I was talking to was like, how is that different from electricity bill? So I say hydro bill, and I suspect that that's because the only time I started paying a hydro bill was once I'd already moved to Ontario, like once I had graduated and was living on my own. So I believe that's an Ontario/Eastern Canada thing, whereas electricity bill, maybe power bill, is more of a Western Canada thing. I don't know about light bill. That seems very specific, but I pay a hydro bill. It gets a little chilly in Canada, doesn't it? What are you putting on? Doeskin, coat, hoodie, jacket. This one's tough because to me, doeskin, I don't know what that is. Coat, hoodie, jacket, those are all layering items, but they are different from each other. Like a hoodie is like a pullover sweater that has a hood. Coat and jacket are similar, but I would say like I have a rain jacket, I think. Like jacket to me implies something lighter than a coat. To me, a coat is like it's heavy, it's thicker, it's warmer. So I think in this case, I would say coat. But it's a little bit tricky because again, to me, those are describing different things, but maybe that's my own mind telling me that as opposed to different dialects or different people using those words differently. Your head's getting cold too. Better put something on it. Knit cap, toque with a U, stocking cap, or toque with an O. And this one is definitely a toque with an O. If we're having dinner, you need some forks and knives, don't you? Unless you call them by another name. Cutlery, utensils, silverware, dinnerware. This one's tough too because I'm pretty sure I use and will use all of these. I think silverware implies something a little fancier. Dinnerware, okay, except for dinnerware. I don't say dinnerware. Utensils and cutlery are, I think, closer to what I think this question is getting at. And I think I would use both. I'm going to say cutlery because I know for a fact I have said that. Utensils, I'm virtually certain I have, but I'm wondering if I've said utensils in particular contexts. I'm pretty sure cutlery's my answer. Time to confuse people in other countries. How do you get your milk? In a carton, in a jug. Who needs milk? Give me some screech. By the bag. I do not buy my milk in a bag, though you can do that at my grocery store. Jugs, I think, are almost exclusively 4 liters. Though now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure you can get 1 liter jugs. I get mine in a carton. I don't often buy milk, but when I do, it's in a carton. Someone just did a great job. What's an acceptable reaction? Nice, full excellent, best kind, or beauty? I would say nice, but it is funny to me because I know my dad will say beauty, and he's from like central Canada, so I'm kind of curious about that. I just always associated that with like an eccentricity of my dad as opposed to a regional thing. So how do you say Toronto anyway? Toronto, 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 Toronto. So my understanding, I have lived in Toronto. I lived there for 5 years. My understanding is that natives to Toronto will say Toronto, like they don't really pronounce the second T. I definitely do, so I say the first one, Toronto. I don't know what Trana or Toronto is. We're going out for a run in a bit. What's on your feet? Runners, trainers, sneakers, or running shoes? I have definitely heard different types of people use these words. I would never say runners, I would never say trainers. I've heard others use that. I think I would say sneakers or running shoes. To me, sneakers are almost like a shoe, like a running shoe that isn't meant for running. I don't know how best to describe it, like a casual shoe. Like if you had a pair of like Adidas. I know Adidas sells running shoes, but like the like streetwear style, to me, like those are sneakers. Whereas running shoes are like your traditional running shoes. So I think I would say I need to get my running shoes. We all know the caramel secret at this point. You take the chocolate mold and then you fill it with what again? Caramel? I don't know the caramel secret yet. Caramel. I definitely say caramel. I've heard my dad will say caramel, which is awful, but I don't associate that with regions either. If you plan to spend a while in the mall, you need to leave your car somewhere. But where? Parking garage, stationnement, parkade, parking lot. So stationnement is surely Quebec. Parkade, I have heard. Parking lot like implies that it's outside. Parking garage implies enclosed. That's kind of tricky. I feel like it depends on the mall. I'd probably say parking lot, but to me, parking lot and parking garage are referring to different things. I wouldn't say parkade, and I definitely wouldn't say station mall. I'll say parking lot. There's not enough room for everyone to sit on a single chair. Good thing we have a sofa, couch, Chesterfield, love seat. Chesterfield is something I associate with older people. Love seat is a particular kind of couch. I have said sofa and couch, but generally I say couch. It's pasta, it's powdered cheese. What is it? Mac and cheese, macaroni and cheese, Kraft Dinner, KD. I think all of these are appropriate. Kraft Dinner or KD being like a brand label of mac and cheese. I suspect that I most often say mac and cheese. I'm virtually certain I have said Kraft Dinner or KD before. I don't think I would often say the entire word macaroni and cheese. If you're looking for something to do, you could always color a picture. What do you need to get that done? Pencil crayons, crayon de couleur, leads, colored pencils. Definitely pencil crayons. These others I have never heard. What do you call an apartment so small the dang thing doesn't even have a bedroom? A studio apartment, a 1 to 1.5, a bedsit, or a bachelor. I don't know what a bedsit or a 1 to half is, or like what is that referring to? Is that like 1 bathroom, half a bedroom, maybe? I don't know. I've definitely said studio apartment and I've definitely said bachelor apartment, and I would use those interchangeably. I suspect I say studio because I live in an apartment that doesn't have a separate bedroom, and I'm pretty sure I have called it a studio apartment. Except I'm pretty sure I probably said studio apartment and then was like, you know, like a bachelor apartment. But yeah, I would say studio. The car is running on empty. We need to fill it up. Where are we stopping? Gas bar, Ultramar, service station, gas station. I thought Ultramar was like a particular brand. Gas bar I've never heard of. Service station maybe, but definitely gas station. Not to get too personal, give us another name for underwear. Gotch, we have slang for underwear. Gaunchies, gitch. Never heard these, so I'm saying we have slang for underwear, question mark. What do you powder a powdered donut with? Powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar, frosting, icing sugar. This one's tricky. So it's definitely not frosting because that's like a particular type of topping that is made from these others. So it's not frosting. It's funny because it almost seems like it depends on the state of the like baking. Like I wouldn't say a powdered donut has confectioner sugar on it, but if you were like, we need to get groceries for powdered donuts, I'd be like, okay, maybe we need confectioner sugar. I suspect I would say probably powdered sugar or icing sugar. That's tough. I'm gonna say powdered sugar. If you can't make it to Tim's, you can make coffee at home. What'll whiten it up for you? Whitener, cream, milk, or creamer? So definitely creamer. I feel like I have heard whitener, but now I like can't think of where. Cream and milk also, but creamer it's like a combination of cream and milk. So I'll say creamer. What goes into poutine? Shredded cheese and beef gravy, cheese curds and sauce brun, poutine sauce and grated cheese, brown gravy and cheese. This is definitely brown gravy and cheese. Except I could also see cheese curds and sauce brun, but I think that's the same, but in French, basically. Incidentally, how do you pronounce poutine? 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 Or Putin? It's definitely the first one, poutine. Where do firefighters work anyway? Firehouse, fire hall, engine house, fire station. Definitely a fire station. Everyone knew that one kid in school was always angling to be the teacher's pet. What else do you call them? Stuck up, teacher's pet, keener, brown noser. So I would think all of those. I could see keener. I feel like that was a thing when I was a kid, but it like kind of went away. Probably brown noser. But I don't know if that's just like something that I've heard more recently. I'm not sure. The situation is bad, very bad. You might even call it royally screwed, borked, hooped, foobar. I don't associate any of these with a region. I'd probably say borked, but I also don't think I would use any of those words. What do y'all have to drink at the bar? A shot ski, give me a pint, screech, rye and ginger. I don't know. I don't drink. So I'll say give me a pint, but I wouldn't say any of those. Who's serving up fries when you're out and about? The chip truck. You don't pick up fries out and about. Chip wagon or fry truck. This is definitely the chip truck. So I have completed the quiz. It says, I am from BC, West Coast. We're feeling like you think everything that's not in view of the Rockies qualifies as Eastern Canada. You don't have much to say about the center of the universe over there in Ontario or the rest of the nation that doesn't know how to properly make a delicious whale tail when they're out at the fair. That's amusing to me. I'm not from BC. I have some family in BC, and it wouldn't surprise me if I've picked up some of their dialect. Like one of the questions was about what do you call like a couch or a sofa, and Chesterfield is something that I associate with my grandparents, and I associate that like them with being older. So perhaps I'm associating it with the wrong thing, and it's because they live in BC as opposed to them being old. So that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. I almost certainly would have guessed that. I feel like Alberta has pretty specific words for things, and Ontario as well. But I'm wondering if I just like had a combination of the both, and so BC kind of crept up to the front. But that was good fun. I really enjoyed doing that quiz. Before you go, I will include a link to this quiz in the description. So if you want to take it, I would encourage you to do so, and I'd love to hear what your results are and whether or not they're accurate. Before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.